Hi Aries, happy birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2022 reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled a couple of oracle cards and a Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. So let's see what you get. Alright, so we have the North Node, and the North Node is actually in Taurus, which is your second house of possessions, self-worth, finances. Speaking of which, we also have Taurus showing up in your dice as well, so yeah, it definitely looks like you have a focus on your finances this month for sure. And we have 1, so first house, that of course is you guys, so it makes sense that as we move through your season, you guys are going to have a lot of focus on yourselves as well. So with all that in mind, we'll get started. In the main situation position, we have a few cards that came up. We have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. King of Pentacles, so Taurus energy again, just like we saw with the dice. And Sagittarius energy here. So, looking at these 3 cards, what I feel like this is saying for the majority of you, I feel like this is you in a point of inner reflection, possibly looking at your finances, and I feel like this is coming across one of 2 ways. The first way that comes to mind for me is you're looking at this as your goal, your overall financial goal, and feeling like on the one hand you might be close, but you might feel like you've hit a blockage, right? So maybe you're making progress for a while toward this goal, and now you feel like it might have come to a bit of a halt, and you're trying to figure out, okay, should I continue down this path or possibly pursue something new altogether, right? So there could just definitely be a moment of doubt on your part. At the time of recording this, we haven't had that full moon in Virgo yet, so that could actually be what brings that to your mind, especially because it's going to be making an aspect with Capricorn, which is in your 10th house of career and social status. Another way I could see this coming across, though, could just be saying that if you've been possibly overspending lately, now maybe you're starting to feel the effects of that, right? So maybe you had this stream of income that you felt was coming in, and you were confident that, oh yeah, I have this amount of money to budget with every month. Maybe that started to slow down for you. Now you're like, okay, maybe I need to go to a plan B. But for the majority of you, I feel like it's more that first scenario. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Ace of Cups. So seeing this in the challenger position could just be saying that because you might have such a heavy focus on that goal of yours, this could be leading to some missed opportunities in other areas of your life. So just a super generic example, right? If you're racking your brain around your finances, like, hey, where's the money going in? Where's it coming out, right? And you're just so heavily focused on that, then that could lead to you not really having the energy or the time to actually pursue anything in the love arena, right? Or even notice if people are advancing toward you because you're just so heavily fixated on that one thing. All right, in the foundation position, we have Judgment. So this is usually for me a Scorpio energy. It represents things coming back around from the past. It might even feel like a moment of saving grace as well. So with this, I feel like this is saying, especially because for you guys, Scorpio could point to the energy of investments. Could just be saying that maybe if there is something that you felt like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get returns on this investment, whether it was a physical investment you made or just your time and your energy, you could see things this month that actually show that you will be receiving a return on that investment. And seeing how he's blowing the horn toward the feminine energy there too could just be saying that you might be more open and receptive this month as well, which could bring some of those things to you. All right. In the past position, we have the Strength card, Leo energy, the Magician, the Sun, which could also be viewed as Leo energy, but just the Sun in general, and we have the Queen of Cups. So for a lot of you, I feel like this is saying that, especially possibly around the Leo full moon that we had recently, you guys might have actually come up with an idea. You know, you're like, okay, maybe around, you were racking your brain around something and you figured out, okay, this is something I could actually do to get myself out of this, right? To move toward my goal, right? This could get me to where I'm trying to go. But you might have realized that, okay, but this is something that's in the early stages, right? So you might have been a bit tight-lipped about it in the past. Like, okay, I know this is where I want to go eventually, but I'm not quite ready to put it out there in the public just yet. So that's the way that's coming across to me primarily. Let me see if anything else comes to mind with that. Yeah, I feel like that's primarily what it is. You might have had this idea come to you, You might have had a lot of confidence in it, but at the same time, there could be various reasons why. You just might have felt like, okay, I'm going to keep this to myself for the time being. All right, in the present position, we have the Ace of Swords. So to me, this represents an energy of realization. So whatever this is that you've been giving a lot of thought to with that Hermit energy, it looks like you guys will actually be receiving, if you haven't already received it, probably very soon you will, some kind of insight on how to move forward on the situation. So it could just be as simple as the energy shifting. For example, you guys are going to have Mercury in your sign pretty much as soon as your season starts. So that's going to be a positive thing. So maybe things that with the Pisces energy, you might have felt like, okay, I can't quite wrap my mind around where I want to go with this thing. As that energy starts to clear up, you might actually feel a lot more confident, like, okay, I finally see the situation more clearly now. In the near future position, we have the Eight of Wands. So yeah, Sagittarius energy here, just like we saw with the Nine of Wands, but obviously this is an energy that's a lot more optimistic, a lot more forward movement, right? So looks like whatever that blockage is, that Ace of Swords realization that you guys will have will actually clear that up, and then things should start moving forward pretty rapidly from there. All right, the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Five of Pentacles, and I actually left it in that position because it came out sideways when I was shuffling, so to me that came out that way for a reason. Now, with it coming out sideways, especially now that we also see with the dice, the Taurus energy, both with that and with the North Node being in Taurus, could just be saying that your perspective might be shifting around your finances, right? So maybe for a while you might have been feeling defeated around the financial situation, like, okay, I don't know how to get out of this rut. So with this coming out sideways, it could just be saying that for some of you, you're finally starting to, get out of that, right? So it's not quite in reverse to say that you're totally there yet. But again, I feel like this is tied to whatever that realization is with the Ace of Swords. So maybe you've just been holding back on some things for a while. You get some kind of an insight that gives you the confidence to move forward toward it. And then you realize, okay, may not be today, may not even be tomorrow, but I feel like I'm going to be pulled out of this rut. Right, in the environment position, we have the Six of Cups, Scorpio energy, and the Seven of Pentacles, Taurus energy again. So there's a lot of Taurus energy in your cards as well as the dice. So on one end, this could just be saying that if this is your energy, you might go back to something from the past, right? And with the Seven of Pentacles, you might see some growth, but at the same time, you might wonder, okay, do I want to continue down this path, right? So maybe you're starting to lose a little passion for it, right? Or you're starting to feel like, okay, this isn't growing at the rate that I thought it would, right? So there could be some reconsideration there. And like I said, that along with that Hermit energy too makes me feel like this is primarily going to be a thought that you guys will probably have around the Virgo full moon. Just because Virgo energy can be a bit self-critical at times, and then on top of that, it'll be pretty much right before the sun moves into your sign. So as you have energies going through your 12th house, you might feel like a lot more reflective, thinking about, okay, maybe I should be further ahead than I am right now, right? So it could be just those little parts of self-doubt. So another way this could be playing out too with that Six of Cups could just be saying that you could be lending some forgiveness to yourself, right? Where maybe you're realizing, okay, maybe I am being a bit hard on myself, right? Because we do see some more optimistic energy coming in for you, and coming to that realization, like, you know what, okay, maybe we're not where we want to be right now, but that doesn't stop us from moving forward, right? So that's one way I could see that playing out. And for others of you, if this is more around the one-to-one relationship situation, and someone comes back to you with an olive branch, right, you might actually be happy to receive that, but then there still might be a bit of doubt on your mind as to whether or not you want to continue to pursue it, I would say. So, maybe you could lend forgiveness to the situation, right? But then there might be a bit of doubt, like, okay, I forgive them, but do I want to continue down this path with them, or can we just leave it at that? All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Cups. So Scorpio energy here. And assume for most of you, this is more of a hope. And to me, I feel like this is saying, again, especially for you guys, since 8th house energy can point to investments, right? Possibly past money owed to you. Just be saying that as simple as that. You're hoping to see that come through for you this month. For others of you, might just want a little bit of time alone also to reflect on the situation, right? And that can be a bit of a good energy to go into right before your season does start, just to have that inner reflection. Some starts to move toward your sign, whether you're, an Aries sun or even your moon or your rising sign Aries, and you might start to have that reflection on the year past, right? And okay, what did I accomplish? What did I not accomplish? What do I want to accomplish? One of those types of things. So it'll just be pointing you guys want a little bit of space to think about all that. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Eight of Cups, Pisces energy, and the Eight of Swords, Gemini energy. So seeing these two cards come up together, I feel like this is saying that that energy of overthinking that we saw with the Hermit, and then like I mentioned, it looks like the Ace of Swords is a moment that comes through for you guys and kind of clears that blockage. Seeing this in the outcome position, I feel like this is saying that you will be leaving something behind. For the majority of you, it could just be as simple as strictly just leaving behind the overthinking process you've been in, right? And actually getting more comfortable with forward movement. So pretty positive energy there. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So definitely a positive energy to see here as well. And it could just be pointing to what we're talking about, right? Maybe for a time things were going a bit slow for you, right? Maybe you felt like you weren't hitting your goals. But now it could just be as simple as we have the sun and all the other energies moving through your sign, that could reignite the flame within you guys to actually move things forward. So this period of reflection, it might have been a bit tough for you guys at times, but it could just be saying that it was actually needed. So now you can make that push forward as the energies move through your sign. All right, so your Four Agreements card is this card here. It says don't make assumptions, and it says learn to ask questions. So see if we get everything framed there. There you go. It says it is always better to ask questions than to make assumptions. Have the courage to ask questions until you are as clear as can be. Once you hear the answer to a question, you won't have to make assumptions because you will know the truth. All right. Well, I mean, in a way, I didn't see like a lot of interaction with others in this reading for you guys this month. It seemed to be primarily an internal journey for a lot of you. But overall, it's certainly not bad advice to have, right? Especially given that, like I said, you guys are going to have Mercury in your sign pretty much right when your season starts and then through the first few weeks of April. So good time for communication in general, right? Because we've had tons of retrogrades and all kinds of heavy energies going on lately. So hopefully that message resonated in that regard. All right. And next we have from the Wisdom Oracle, Observer. There's the artwork, and the number is 49. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, it says perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. The Oracle's message. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral standpoint. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. So a pretty positive message there, and that does seem to point to a similar message that we saw with that other card. And that could be what that Ace of Swords is for some of you, right? Where maybe it could just be saying that through communications with others, you might get some insight and the light bulb might go off for you around the situation. All right, the relationship message says sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and you often hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take to higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself and others and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. All right, so pretty positive message there. Again, like I said, I don't necessarily see a huge relationship vibe within the spread, but I mean, you guys will have a full moon in Libra in April, so that's a good time to review relationships in that regard. All right, the prosperity message says it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing to see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as planned. Trust the spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. Again, pretty positive message there, and I could just be pointing to what we were talking about with that Hermit energy and the Nine of Wands, right, where you could just be really racking your brain around the situation and maybe feel like you're not making any progress on it. Then we do see that Ace of Swords movement that seems to lead to a lot of forward progression for you guys, so hopefully that resonated too. And lastly, we have a Mudra. So this is your Mudra here. It's the Makara Mudra. The keyword for it is fertility. And let's get it to focus. There we go. And yeah, there we go. Got everything in the frame. So under benefits, it says improves memory, strengthens the kidneys, helps to relieve low back pain, nourishes the hair, restores energy reserves. So if that sounds like Mudra, I think would be beneficial for you guys, I'll put the name in the description video as always. Once again, happy birthday, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.